While tidying up the room, I accidentally discovered a hole in the wall. Out of curiosity, I tore away the wallpaper and was astonished to find a heavy iron door hidden within the wall. The door had a peculiar keyhole, which reminded me of two iron pieces I had previously discarded. I fitted the pieces together and successfully opened the door, only to find an empty room behind it. When my wife entered the room, the lights inside suddenly began to flicker. Assuming it was an electrical problem, I called in a repairman. The repairman examined the basement filled with wires but couldn't figure out where to start and hastily left. That evening, I entered the mysterious room alone. When I casually said, "I want a bottle of wine," the lights suddenly went out and an unopened bottle appeared before me. The next day, when my wife entered the room again, it was already filled with various items. I excitedly showed her the exquisite paintings and explained the room's miraculous function. At first, my wife thought I was having a mental breakdown. After my persuasion, my wife tentatively said, "I want $1 million." When the lights went out, a pile of cash appeared on the floor. Although everything felt like a dream, we quickly acquired vast wealth and artwork through this room. However, after the initial euphoria, a sense of emptiness followed. One day, I came home to find my wife had used the wishing room to create a baby. Though I had always longed for a child, I didn't want one obtained this way. After my urging, my wife reluctantly agreed to make the baby disappear, but couldn't bring herself to do it. When I picked up the child to make the wish, I realized I couldn't let go either. In the end, we decided to keep the baby. The room's magical power sparked my curiosity about its origins. I discovered online that the house's previous owner had been murdered, and the killer claimed to have committed the crime under the room's coercion. The killer was still confined in a psychiatric hospital. Upon learning this, I grabbed some cash from the room and immediately headed to the hospital, wanting to understand the killer's motive. But when the inmate learned I had moved into that house, he only warned me to leave as soon as possible. On my way home, when I reached for money to pay for gas, I found all the cash in my pocket had turned to ash. To confirm my suspicion, I rushed home, grabbed the bills from the floor, and threw them out the window. The next second, the crisp bills turned to ash. Then I placed a painting at the boundary between inside and outside the room. Soon, something eerie happened. The portion inside remained intact, while the part outside rapidly decayed. Facing this half-destroyed painting, I was determined to uncover the truth. I grabbed a hammer and frantically smashed the wall, only to be stunned by what I saw. The walls were densely packed with wires. I lifted the bedroom floorboards and found the same mass of wires underneath. While I was still in shock, I noticed my wife about to leave with our son. I frantically tried to stop her, but she insisted on opening the door and walking out. At that moment, the child outside began to cry. His tender face turned red, and his baby shoes rapidly deteriorated. Seeing this, I immediately ran to my wife and carried the child back inside. To our horror, the baby in our arms grew into a 7- or 8-year-old child in less than a minute.